Today we're going to talk about clothing. An important but very often overlooked aspect of safety is what we decide to wear each day on the job. Safety rules, weather, type of work, hazards of the work, and many other factors weigh in on what type of clothing is optimal for the tasks being completed that day. So it's vital to consider the impact clothing can have on safety at work. One of the first things we want to consider is weather and the choice of clothing. Outside of safety rules and regulations, the weather conditions are the main deciding factor of what clothing someone should be wearing that day. The area where the job site is will decide many things about what a person should wear to work. Breathable, thinner layers are more desirable in warmer temperatures. In colder temperatures, thicker and warmer layers will need to be obviously worn to protect you as a worker. In many climates, it may be necessary to wear warmer clothing in the morning and then wear fewer layers in the afternoon. It's important to plan what you're going to wear after considering the weather and how long you're going to be exposed to it, depending on what work you're completing that day. Pick clothing that keeps you as comfortable as well as protects you from the elements. It's very important to allow you to fully focus on your work task. Not wearing the proper attire will take your focus off your work and put it on the fact that you're cold, hot, or wet since you weren't properly prepared for the weather that you're encountering. Other important clothing considerations are make sure that the clothing fits properly. Clothing that's too loose can interfere with being able to complete work safely. It can easily get caught in rotating equipment or in other objects. Don't wear clothing with big tears or holes in it. Tears or holes can also interfere with work. There have been a number of incidents where a hole or a tear in clothing has gotten caught on equipment controls, and this can easily cause unintended movements which lead to injury and property damage. Then also, bring extra clothing with you to work. Having extra clothes ensures that you're able to change if you get a chemical on your clothing or if your clothes become wet. Whatever the problem may be, it's important to have the option to change. Being comfortable helps to allow you to focus on your work. Then also, most particularly, you also want to watch out for strings on hooded sweatshirts when working around rotating equipment or when working on equipment. These parts can get very easily caught up in rotating parts and can tighten up enough to choke you. So tie those up, shorten them up, take them off perhaps if that's the best way to handle it. But do consider the strings on the hooded sweatshirts because they are potentially very dangerous. Then also wear clothing that covers the skin when you're in areas where there's a likelihood of you encountering something that's toxic, whether it's a plant like poison ivy or insects, or most particularly for what we do, welding, where there's hot slag or anything like that that's in the area or perhaps could fall from above. Covering your skin is the best way to protect yourself from these various types of hazards. So, in summary, let's pay more attention to the clothing that we're wearing. Plan for the weather that you anticipate that day or whatever the environment is if you're working indoors. Choose the type of clothing that will protect you as well as what fits comfortably and is appropriate for the task. Proper clothing will allow you to focus on your work and work more efficiently and more safely.